As children, most of us will have experienced that primal fear that something is lurking under our bed at night, that dark, void-like abyss in which our greatest fears were made manifest, where a monster or bogeyman was always waiting after the lights had gone out and our parents had gone to bed, ready to reach out in the gloom to grab us. But what if it wasn't always in our imagination? What if, now and again, the monster under the bed is actually real? I am TK Randall, and in this episode I'll be looking at genuine real-life cases where there really was something lurking under the bed. The inherent childhood fear of a monster or bogeyman living in the dark space under the bed has been around for centuries. That sense of foreboding, that chill crawling up the spine, the hesitation before letting your foot dangle over the edge, is likely all too familiar and something most of us will have experienced at some point during our childhood years. In many ways, the space under the bed has always been mysterious. It's a place of shadows, of unseen things that are perhaps best left forgotten. This is further exacerbated by the fact that children's brains in particular are still developing, making it more difficult for them to differentiate between imagination and reality. In the past, some parents would tell their children that if they didn't go to bed, the bogeyman would get them. Clearly not a parenting technique that would go down well in today's society, but such warnings of creatures lurking under the bed are no doubt as timeless as the fear itself. There are similar tales and legends in countries across the world. The Sackman or Bagman of Latin America, for instance, was often depicted as a mean, ugly old man who gathered up misbehaving children in his sack and then took them away to eat them for dinner. Another variant, known as Krampus, was commonly referenced in parts of Europe. I think this picture speaks for itself. There is also the Tokolosh, a mischievous and violent spirit of South African legend that is said to lurk under the bed and attack victims in their sleep. Some believe that the true origins of such fears are more primal, based on our inherent fear of dark spaces, and that which we cannot see. In the very distant past, early humans would have certainly been very wary of sleeping next to holes and dark spaces where snakes, spiders, or other dangerous creatures could be lurking. Back then, being bitten by something could have easily proven fatal, so that fear was very much justified. But what about now? As it turns out, a fear of something lurking under the bed is not always unfounded. March 24th, 2025 had seemed like any other evening. A woman who had been babysitting children at a house on Patton Road in the city of Great Bend, Kansas, had gone to put the youngsters to bed for the night when one of them refused to settle down because they claimed that there was a monster under their bed. The babysitter, no doubt familiar with such fanciful tales, decided that the best way to allay the child's concerns was to kneel down on the floor and demonstrate that there wasn't anything there. It was all in their imagination. When she got down on the floor to take a look under the bed, however, she discovered to her horror that there was a strange man hiding there. It's difficult to imagine the fear she herself must have felt in this scenario. According to the police report, an altercation had ensued between the babysitter and the intruder, resulting in one of the children being knocked over in the struggle. The man ended up fleeing the scene before police officers had arrived. It turned out that the intruder had once lived at the house, but had been barred from entering due to a protection order that had been issued against him. He was apprehended by the police the following morning and was charged with aggravated burglary, aggravated battery, child endangerment, felony obstruction of a law enforcement officer, and violation of a protection from abuse order. No doubt he won't be getting back there again anytime soon. Human intruders aren't the only form of real-life monster to be found lurking in a child's bedroom. Back in 2024, another prominent case hit the news. A 3-year-old girl who lived at a farmhouse in Charlotte, North Carolina, had repeatedly complained to her parents that there were monsters in the walls of her bedroom. At first, her parents thought nothing of it, especially since she had just seen Pixar's Monsters, Inc. movie for the first time. The problem didn't go away though, and the girl ended up being given a bottle of water to keep by her bedside at night so that if any monsters appeared, she could spray them with it. It wasn't until her mother started to see an unusually large number of bees swarming outside the house that things started to make a bit more sense. When she called in a pest control company to investigate, the beekeeper used a special thermal camera to look for hotspots along the walls of the girl's bedroom. It turned out that what the girl had been hearing all this time was not monsters under the bed, but bees in her bedroom wall, thousands upon thousands of them, just inches from where she was sleeping. The beekeeper, who stated that he'd never seen anything quite like it, ultimately removed between 55,000 and 65,000 bees and 100 pounds or 45 kilograms of honeycomb from the wall. At least after that, the young girl was able to get to sleep without being disturbed by any more monsters. That's all from me for this episode. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell icon to be notified when we upload new videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.